find the word Judaism or Christianity in the Old or New Testament? If not, what was the original name of the religion preached by Moses being fulfilled by Jesus? Huh? What? All right, so first of all, no, you're going to find that the word, again, this goes back to a lot of confused people out there, the word Judaism does emerge, Jew, Jewishness, Judaism, whatever cognates, they're all English words. All of them are English words. You've got to go back to look at when they were first called Yehudahites, Judahites, the people of Judah, that eventually morphed into Judaism as an English term. But there's mention of Judahites, the people of Judah, the Yehudahi. So it's important to understand that, and if you want to look for the Jews or the Jewish people, start with the book of Esther. That gives you about the timeline when the language basically starts to become crystallized as to basically when people were referring to the term understanding people practicing a certain type of prescribed adherence, all right, to the law. And that will again change about the 1st century into 1st century AD, when basically rabbinicism takes over what was practiced in BC. So just as a sidebar. As for Christianity, I've already explained this. They were first called, before they were called Christians, they were called the Way, the people in the way, and most of the people were in the way. But they were called the Way. And I think I've adequately explained this. We know that, again, everything gets a little bit morphed when we turn to the English language, but they were first called Christians at Antioch. So there's enough of that in the Bible. And as for what Moses preached, and this is the thing that gets people very irritated at me, and I don't care, you can be mad at me all you want, but it's a challenge for you to tell me that when God gave the 10 Commandments, yes, the tribe of Judah was in existence, but the tribe of Judah was not functioning by itself. It wasn't the epicenter where the temple was. It was a tribe functioning within the rest of the tribes of Israel. So you cannot say they were practicing Judaism in the desert. They were practicing what I'd go so far as to say the laws of God. And some have said, would you call it Yahwism? Maybe so, I don't know. But Judaism will only emerge, I want you to think about this. Even the institution of Passover was marking, and you'll hear me talk about this today, was marking the deliverance out of Egypt's bondage. And until it was memorialized when they were delivered, marking the deliverance of the people. But still, that was not invoked. There's no label, there's no nomenclature that says this is Judaism. This will emerge only after the people come back from being deported, the southern kingdom. All of this terminology will become crystallized and then imported as language understood as people practicing the laws of sacrifice and offering and then some, which again will be completely deconstructed when the temple ceases to exist and the people are scattered and dispersed, because now there's no place to worship, there's no place to offer the sacrifice. I hope that makes sense. It's really, really difficult for me to explain these things in sound bites, but what I do want you to know is that there are still a lot of confused people out there. And you know, I'm very grateful because you've all sat through with great patience me explaining this. But this is why you're going to have people, you're going to hear people talking on the news about certain things, and please pay attention, because people just homogenize these terms and make like nothing. Does it matter? Yes, it does, because when people start to talk about the fact and want to make Judaism existing way further back than it actually does, they're also the same people who will twist the words and the concept of Zion from the Bible into the terminologies that are used today and tossed around very irresponsibly. And I could keep going on this. So let's just make sure we're clear about what we're talking about. And if you're not sure, please listen before you post. It makes it much better for everybody.
Come into this house, magnify the Lord, lift up holy hands. hearts in one accord.